What's up, y'all? It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. What's up, y'all? Listen, it was a short week. So we here and it's Friday and we have some shit to talk about. You already know what we gonna talk about. We watched it as a family last night, Surviving R. Kelly. We just gonna talk about that for Friday's video. Basically, Surviving R. Kelly came on Lifetime last night. 2 parts. It's 6 parts altogether, coming on tonight and on Saturday night as well. And it's just, a lot of the shit I knew already. I don't know why he wouldn't let that person over. That's so rude. A lot of the stuff a lot of us knew already, just from, just being around and during those times. But a lot of those details I just did not know. They started off, it was a lot of contributors, but not contributors. We found, it was produced by Dream Hampton, and Dream used to write. She writes a lot, and she's a community, activist, and she's from Detroit. She's not from Chicago. Yesterday, I think I said I thought she was from Chicago for some reason, but she's from Detroit. But she, it was a lot of people, a lot of influencers, black influencers, Jamila Lemieux, who else? Tiana Burke, from the creator of Me Too. She was interviewed. John Legend, he was the only one that they were able to interview in terms of entertainers, because according to Dream Hampton, Jay-Z, Mary J. Blige, Erykah Badu, Dave Chappelle, and Questlove, people declined. I don't understand. I don't understand why people decline. I can figure why Jay-Z would decline, because he's admitted out of his mouth that he watched Beyonce since she was 16 years old. And he also had some dealings with Foxy Brown, who was also underage. So I'm sure he didn't want to get interviewed because it would bring out all of his bullshit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit going on in the industry. It starts off giving us a little bit of context in regards to R. Kelly, like his life, which I didn't know until somebody put it in the comments yesterday, that he was actually sexually abused by his sister. His brother was also sexually abused by her as well. He talking about he don't want to throw nothing under the bus. That when he did that interview with Tavis Smiley saying he don't want to throw anybody in his family under the bus, that is the reason why sexual abuse in our community continues for generations, because no one wants to say anything. No one wants to throw anyone under the bus. Somebody who's violating you and abusing you does not deserve any protection. None at all. No protection at all. So by him saying that in that Tavis Smiley interview, you can already get that he is part of this pathological thing within our community, where people are allowed to abuse people and basically get away with it, boys and girls. What else did they talk about? They talked about how when you're sexually abusing children, when someone is sexually abused or sexually abusing, there's they get the dynamics of power confused, where they're saying basically they confuse control with sex. And this is basically his MO. It's all about control, all about, just extremely provocative and vulgar lyrics. And they really did a breakdown of his lyrics. They really did a breakdown, not of his lyrics, but of his songs, his contributions, and why people see him in a certain light, and how he's been a manipulator since a little kid. And they talked about him not being able to read. We already knew that about R. Kelly, not being able to read and write. And then also focusing on the musical abilities of him as a child, and then how he just took off. And they interviewed his brothers, Bruce and Carrie. Bruce is in jail, and like someone said on Twitter yesterday, it's a wonderful image to see the only person who's kind of apologizing or being apologetic about to R. Kelly being a rape apologist, basically, and like being his supporter, is the only person that's sitting behind bars in his fucking fucking, what do they call those scrubs? What do they call the things? The jail outfits that they wear. His brother Bruce was saying things like young girls were a preference, just disgusting things that are verbalized within our community. Like, he doesn't just represent one person, he represents a group of men and a group of women who think like this. And it was a good image to see his ass in jail. I guess he ended up trending too. All of the shit was it was really wild. They talked about this, they had retired police officers, and there's people online talking about how they may not get the story right. R. Kelly is trying to sue Lifetime TV because most of the girls are lying. So that means that some of them are telling the truth. So if one is telling the truth, I don't understand this thing. And you know what? He is banking on this idea that women lie about being raped or sexually abused. He was sexually abusing girls, meeting girls 14 years old, going up to the school, which I've heard that before, going up to the schools. If this man who's from Chicago, just became this superstar, and he's over 18, and he's coming up to the high school, teachers see, people in leadership, they see this man, it's noticeable. Somebody's coming up to the high school, R. Kelly, he's a superstar. Everybody knows. That's the crazy part. And people were allowing it. And one girl said, people act like, well, how didn't anybody notice? Nobody everybody noticed. It was that they were black girls being abused. Somebody said online, you think if Bill Cosby was messing with black women, he would be in jail? This argument that white people do it too, they just want to bring a black man down. Let me tell you, if a black man is going through our community preying on little girls, I'm not talking about 18, 19-year-old women, young women. Those are young women. You are messing with girls who have just started their periods. You understand what I'm saying? That is a pedophile, prepubescent, and then messing with 12-year-olds. The Sparkle's niece up there, he's hugging her. She comes up to like right here on him. Like, she comes up to just above his waist. And this is what, let me go right here. And it was just like, a lot of the times I was just like, this is disgusting. I just couldn't believe it. They talked about how he met Aaliyah. These are just the first 2 episodes. So he met Aaliyah. Y'all saw it. So I just think that I don't know if this is gonna do anything with the R. Kelly situation, because he has been arrested for child pornography. People have come out, all of these women who are saying that these things that happened to them. And then this girl, Lizette, this Hispanic girl, she says she knew it was, she wanted to be a star. He met her in a mall and he sold her a dream, and then she just ended up in this cycle of abuse. They had some clinical psychologists on there who were giving very good context to behaviors of people who abuse and people who are abused, and I thought that was absolutely necessary. The way that these episodes were produced are very good, very good. Nothing like the Aaliyah story or the TLC. These are not actors. These are people being interviewed, talking about their stories, and then us, and some history and backstory. It's not, these are people actually, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to explain it. And, people's like, oh, well, people are gonna, he's gonna sue. You can't sue anybody for doing an interview. You can't sue anybody. All of these things, these charges and these allegations, you have already been talked to about. The fact that he could get away, and he's been getting away with this for over 25 years, is disgusting. Even a retired police officer was like, he calls himself the Pied Piper. And it was really alarming and concerning that a lot of people don't understand what the Pied Piper is, or who the Pied Piper is, and the story behind it. So people are like, he's been calculated in his abuse to little girls from the beginning, calling himself the Pied Piper, going up to high schools, meeting young girls, taking girls, having sex, having bedrooms in the studio, and having sex with these little girls in between takes. Where are their parents? Everybody wants to know. And they said it so perfectly, when you exploit and abuse people who have no resources, it's hard to get help. It's hard to seek help. A lot of these girls seem to come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds. Remember, I said that the other day. When you are going to somebody that they don't have anything, for instance, him and Aaliyah. He met Aaliyah when she was 12 through her uncle. Everybody knows that, right? And Sparkle, she introduced her niece when she was 12. What is this idea of leaving little girls alone with grown men and grown women that you don't know? And why are you trusting these people? That's like when people say, stuff about these celebrities. You don't, just because you see all these celebrities on television and they doing charity work in this, I don't know that motherfucker. I'm not leaving my kid alone with Beyonce. I don't give a fuck I don't know her. Why would you leave your kid with a goddamn stranger? Let alone now Sparkle, she's talking about how with Aaliyah, talked about he was messing with her. The background singers, two of the background singers, it seemed like they were sisters, the twins look like. They said they saw, one of them saw R. Kelly having sex with Aaliyah. Then all of a sudden, his tour manager laughing at things and smiling. They got along so great. Like I don't know, like everybody that was involved in that. And then, like I said, like the entertainment industry is full of fucking predators exploiting women and girls and boys and men and young men, exploiting these people, and everybody sits around. Why isn't Harvey Weinstein in jail? Shit, why isn't R. Kelly in jail? You understand what I'm saying? That's a predator, somebody in our community. We should not be wondering why white men who abuse their people in their community, young girls, and why are you wanting to have a comparable behavior, sadistic behavior? Well, white men do it, so black men should be able to abuse little girls and exploit women too, since white men do it. You know how damaging and backwards that is? That's retarded. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but it is. It's backwards. It's wrong for anybody to say, well, white men do it. This idea that somebody is bringing down R. Kelly. He needs to be brought down. What is wrong with y'all? You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, they think Aaliyah is pregnant. So his tour manager is forging fucking documents saying she's 18. So they know they was doing something wrong. For you to lie on the damn marriage certificate. Toure, the one that does, he's the one that did the interview with R. Kelly, and when he asked R. Kelly, was he into teenage girls, and he talking about, when you say teenage, what do you mean? And during this time, they're showing you that this man is making songs like "I Believe I Can Fly" and "You Are Not Alone," written about a young girl, 17-year-old girl, that he got pregnant and she had a miscarriage. And then I missed something. I don't know what was wrong with my feed, but I missed something about the girl Lizette, where she ended up paralyzed, and he gave her parents $1,000 and gave Aaliyah's parents $100 to not take legal action against him. Like, this idea that Aaliyah's parents are just like, oh, we don't agree with this and all this other stuff. You didn't protect your daughter. You really allowed a predator to consume her, and then let's not act like Aaliyah wasn't fucking with Jay-Z and then turned around and started fucking with Dame Dash. Like, the shit goes on, y'all, and these girls passed around. Nobody cares. The men are sharing the secret. They unspokenly know. One of the guys who was a producer, he was like, I just thought everything was weird. I didn't want to be around nothing like that. All of the girls looked really, really young. He would be having sex with them in the studio. I didn't understand why he had bedrooms in the studio. This is somebody. Now, this is when you ask the question. You separate art from the artist, right? Well, we can love his music and not like him, right? That's the argument. But when you know that this motherfucker was creating music, and in between creating music, he was raping little girls, that was his break from his creativity. And then to go back in the song and sing something like, I Believe I Can Fly, or I Wish, or The After Party, whatever the fuck that song is called. No, you can't separate the art when he was abusing people while creating it. No, we can't do that. Like, you want to, in one sense, like everybody was saying, you want to, in one sense, like this, for somebody can't read, can't write, as a natural ability. That is the exact definition of a genius. Someone who has an innate ability to do something that they've never been taught to do. They've never been trained to do. That is the literal definition of a genius. But then you have this person who has taken his God universally given gift and is using it for pure fucking evil, and then manipulating you and everybody else with the music that he's creating on the other end, gospel music. We're not going to talk about the abuse that goes on within the church. It's the same exact thing. These older men preying on these young girls, stealing their youth. And that girl Lizette talking about, I knew from the beginning. Then they was having threesomes. She was 17 years old, having threesomes with a 15-year-old. Him over 30. It just makes me sick thinking about it. And then the girl said, I didn't know that I thought she was my age. Here's the thing. If you know you 17, you could look at another girl. You could look at her and be like, girl, how old are you? She said she mentioned it was her birthday and she was turning 16. And she was like, wait, you're not 16, like about to be 17? I don't know what she said. And she was like, no, I'm 15. This was Sparkle's niece. She said, we were having threesomes. This is disgusting. Then they start talking to Andrea, who seems very, and this is the thing. You catch someone in a vulnerable state, you can really manipulate the situation for you, and then have that person, what the psychologist said, learned helplessness. And that's when you ask yourself, well, why didn't you just leave? She's learned how to be helpless. Can I come downstairs and get something to eat? The people in one section, like the dancers weren't allowed to talk to the musicians. The musicians weren't allowed to talk to the background singers. Not everybody was separated. He kept everyone separated. He's very calculated and manipulative, and it was just very disturbing just listening to how he went about abusing these little girls and picking them up and telling them that they're, and then Sparkle, who almost seemed like she was kind of judgmental of Andrea and saying that Andrea came downstairs. Even his brother when he married Andrea, I think she was she 19? I don't know how old she was, but his brother said she was a little different from the girls he was used to having. Like he's having these women. You listen to the way that these people talk about these girls, objects, and then you are abusing it. And then okay, so they thought Aaliyah was pregnant. I want to know, where the hell is this baby? Did they lie to get married? Aaliyah was lying. They showed an interview with them dressed alike. He's my best friend. She's, what, 16 years old at the time? 15? Like, ugh. And then after, once you then they get the marriage annulled after 2 months, I think. And then pay the parents $100 not to take legal action. That's how you, but all of a sudden now you want to protect her image and her legacy. You wasn't protecting her when she was a fucking teenager. Like, now all of a sudden you want to protect Aaliyah's image. What? You allowed that little girl to be abused. The little girl to be abused. What else did they talk about? Hold on, I have my notes. Andrea, yeah, and then like talked about how he married both of them without their input, without, just had weddings and everything set up for them. Very controlling, very calculated, it's confusing control and sex, and then making these songs. I can't even wrap my head around everything that I heard. I just couldn't believe it. I was just disgusted. Knowing that you're having, first of all, what the fuck is wrong with you? Sparkle, her niece, she introduced her to R. Kelly when she was 12. She's coming to the studio, the little girl's there. What are you doing here? Oh, Robert's gonna do such and such and such and such, and he's gonna have a sleepover with all the kids. What? Why is this grown man having a sleepover with kids? This grown single man. Well, and then doesn't Andrea have kids? Doesn't he have children? Like, she had 2 kids for him. He wouldn't let. I couldn't believe somebody just looking at her, and as vocal as she is, and she seems to be strong, that happened. But they talked about the cycle of abuse. This is the reason why it was very important for them to have clinical psychologists on there, so they could explain that this thing is like a machine almost. You understand what I'm saying? And I just couldn't believe. I just can't believe half of the shit that was going on. Sparkle's niece was 12 years old. 12 years old. And then she said, the 17-year-old girl, this idea that little girls are fast and they should know better and all this other stuff. Let me tell you something. It is your duty as an adult to protect children. Period. No matter how smart you think they are, no matter how mature you think they are still a child. Their brain doesn't function on the level that our brains do as adults. You understand? Not every adult, but you understand what I'm saying. And you want to hold a little girl accountable for the actions of a grown-ass man. You want to have her bear some responsibility. Someone who is barely developed physically, yet mentally and emotionally. You want to hold her accountable. This is the reason why these little girls continue to be abused over generations. The 17-year-old girl, he raped her, took her virginity and raped her, drugged her and raped her. And you want to sue somebody because they want to tell their story about what you did to them. They said multiple rooms sexually abusing women in between takes. So that's what I was talking about. Separating the art, trying to say you want to separate the art from the artist. No, while he was creating the art and the music that you love to step to, he was screwing little girls, raping and sexually abusing little girls in between takes. The woman, there was a musical editor who was saying that it's a manipulation because he does these gospel songs, this inspirational music. So you're like, how can this person who makes this beautiful music like this do these awful sadistic things to little girls? That's the manipulation. He's not only manipulating his victims and the survivors of his abuse, he's manipulating his fans. He's manipulating the consumer as well. Crazy. I just thought it was amazing. And these next 2 episodes are about to be about the trial, and then the last 2 episodes are talking about what's going on now. And Dream Hampton, she tweeted and said, like, the last 2 episodes are really important because it's up to date with what's going on now. Overall, I think it was just produced really well. I thought that the interviews, I thought that the interviewing of the brothers and the tour managers, and John Legend was the only celebrity or entertainer to actually speak up. I want to know why are people afraid of R. Kelly? Does he have that much power behind him to where people like Jay-Z, Mary J. Blige, Questlove, Erykah Badu are unwilling to talk about this? I don't want to say that they're afraid, but it's like, why wouldn't you? You all have children. And even if you don't have children, the very idea of children being abused should make anyone want to speak up and out about it. But that behavior of saying, you know what, I don't want to touch that, I don't have nothing to do with that, none of that. That is how abuse continues, because people don't want to talk about it. They sweep it under the rug. They blame little girls. Like, this shit is crazy. Hopefully, it is bringing out conversation. Hopefully it does spark more conversation, and hopefully people come out. One of the things that I always say is, when little kids are around adults that they don't feel comfortable around, and you know how elders used to make you hug people. Go ahead and hug your cousin. Go ahead and hug so and so. Go ahead and hug so and so. But don't sit on so and so's lap. Don't leave your purse around so and so. Don't be in a room with so and so. People fucking know. They know. And you introducing these girls to this man at 12 years old. 12 years old. Just hitting puberty. Some girls. They had that girl, Sparkle's niece, came up to his waist, y'all. That shit was crazy as fuck. Crazy as hell. I was just disgusted. And these women, they're like, he's fucked up a lot of people. It's been 20-something years, and people are still suffering from the abuse that he did to these girls. I'm so glad that they're showing this, and it's not just the men in the industry, the women in the industry too. Because I was talking about Mona Scott Young. She was in the industry too, and she has made her money off of exploiting grown women, but exploiting women nonetheless. I don't know. Anyways, y'all, I hope y'all have a good weekend. We're going to come back and talk about the next 2 episodes and the next episodes over time. But we need to discuss everything. So y'all leave it in the comments. Tell me what y'all thought of the episode. What did I miss? Let's just keep the conversation going down in the comments about this. And, it's important that we talk about it. I think it's so important that we talk out loud about this. We're able to identify behaviors when we see somebody being manipulative, and we see that we can call it out. Nobody should be holding secrets for anybody. Nobody should feel like that's not my business. It's a child. It is your business. It is your business. Children in your tribe should be watched over by every adult. And if one adult is doing something they're not supposed to be doing, the tribe should kick that person out of the tribe. It should be no stepping in the name of love. It should be no wishing you can fly. It should be none of that. And these grown women, She knew what she was doing. She looked like she knew what she was doing. Yeah, because he groomed them. That's a part of the cycle of abuse. And then even Andrea was like, I don't know. I wanted to do things to make sure he was comfortable. I didn't want him to be mad. I wanted him to be the person that asked me to teach him how to read. Abusing these people, crazy. Anyways, y'all, I'm here. I am here, and we gonna see. Anyways, tell me what y'all thought about it. Have a wonderful weekend, y'all, and take care of each other. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll come back tomorrow. Peace.